Hello, and welcome to MemeAnalysis. This video is an entry to the contest announced by the true and honest original creator of MemeAnalysis. This guy. He basically asked all of us to do what he does, to copy his format and to analyze a meme. Now, a question we could be asking ourselves is, was it his plan to make his format into a meme by using a monetary reward to incentivize mimetic repetition of said format? MemeAnalysis becoming a meme in itself, the way meme review has become a meme in itself, and thereby sort of folding in on itself. Maybe this was unavoidable given the subject matter and the platform, and maybe this was intended all along. But I digress. Artificially, of course, because this video is scripted. Without further ado, let's get into it and analyze some memes. Because memes matter, after all. Dang, I said it too early, didn't I? The Wagecuck. The meme we're going to have a look at today is the Wagecuck meme. The Wagecuck, also referred to as Wageslave or Wagie, is a character, almost exclusively a young male without a significant other, who spends most of his time working a boring, dead-end job that brings him no joy or fulfillment, while still not being able to afford a comfortable lifestyle. In this sense, the experience of the Wagecuck is not too dissimilar from that of most people in the workforce. But the Wagecuck is disillusioned. He is black-pilled or based enough to realize the meaninglessness of his existence and the nature of his predicament. He realizes that consumerism is flawed and that he cannot enjoy what little money he makes since he spends most of his time working. In most iterations of the meme, the only thing that keeps the Wagecuck going is the prospect of attaining a girlfriend. There are other meme characters who haven't given up all hope and strive for improvement, generally referred to as maxing, in the hope of attaining the ever-elusive girlfriend, most notably the gym cell, who is gym maxing. But notice that the Wagecuck is not a wage cell, although he essentially is an involuntary celibate or incel who is money maxing, or tries to do so anyway. The Wagecuck is just that. A cuck. What is a cuck? For the purposes of understanding the Wagecuck, it is paramount to know what a cuck is and why or how this term applies here. The term cuck is short for cuckold, and a cuckold is the husband of an adulterous wife. The cuckold knows about his partner's infidelity, but accepts or even encourages it. Possible reasons for this acceptance of behavior that is generally deemed unacceptable range from a dramatic lack of assertiveness, desperation, and dependence, to fetishistic enjoyment of the wife's infidelity. This willingness to surrender the treasured and idealized girlfriend, or the failure to protect her, is generally seen as a sign for unmanliness and weakness, hence why the abbreviated term cuck is most often used as a derogatory term. Importantly, the cuck still puts energy into the relationship with his unfaithful partner, sustaining or supporting her emotionally and financially, while other men get to enjoy what is perceived to be the reward for his hard work and dedication, namely sexual intercourse. The parallels are obvious. The Wagecuck works long, grueling hours, while others get to reap the benefits, most notably through taxation. He himself cannot enjoy the fruits of his labor, since he has little to no free time or little to no energy left after his shift. So, the Wagecuck works hard and earns money only to pay taxes and thereby fund the lifestyles of others. Now, who are the beneficiaries? People who, for one reason or another, receive money from the government, of course. The incel community is quick to paint an especially humiliating picture here. A Chad, or alpha male, will impregnate and then abandon many women, leaving a trail of single mothers in his wake. These single mothers will receive money from the government to raise their children. So, part of the taxes that the Wagecuck pays will go towards raising another man's children, thus making him a literal cuckold who pays child support without ever having been involved in the reproductive process. Additionally, the Wagecuck involuntarily supports people who are married, since they may get tax breaks or be in an otherwise advantageous position concerning taxes. But, notably, the Wagie also funds the lifestyle of his counterpart, the NEET. NEET stands for Not in Education, Employment or Training. The special dynamic between NEET and Wagecucks warrants further explanation. The Parable of the NEET and the Wagie. Knowing what we know now, an obvious conclusion might be to assume that the Wagecuck meme is just a thinly veiled critique of capitalism, consumerism, the alienating modern working environment, and taxation. Unsurprisingly, however, it goes deeper than that. To get to the bottom of this meme, it pays to contrast the Wagecuck with the NEET. NEETs, or people claiming to be NEET, are usually the ones who use the term Wagecuck to belittle and mock people who are employed, empowering themselves in the process, justifying their life decisions and inactivity. On the surface, this power dynamic may seem odd. Perhaps one would expect people in employment to make fun of people who are unemployed. But the idea here is that being employed is undesirable, whereas being NEET is perceived as desirable. There might be a hint of self-deprecation involved in describing oneself as NEET, but if self-deprecation occurs, it only does so on the surface level. In the dynamic of NEET and Wagie, the NEET wins out. He collects welfare money. The Wagecuck supports the parasitic NEET, and he does so involuntarily, without gaining any power over the NEET. While the Wagecuck spends most of his time working a job that he loathes, the NEET gets to live comfortably and play video games all day. Fundamentally, however, the NEET and the Wagecuck are very similar. Both come from a generation of people whose overprotective parents always told them that they could be whatever it was they wanted to be. This turned out to have been a lie. The world at large does not care about the individual. Both the Wagecuck and the NEET realized this. They understand that the capitalist system that surrounds them is broken. The Wagie experiences this every day. Yet, how thinkers like Wagecuck or Mark Fisher have pointed out repeatedly, some sort of dislike of capitalism is built into capitalism, and a huge advantage of the capitalist system is a lack of alternatives. Trapped, as we are, in this societal system, there are seemingly only two ways to react. One can either yield, give up, and assimilate, which is the path of the Wagecuck, or reject society and become a NEET. What makes the Wagecuck and the NEET go down different paths? A cynic might say the difference is due to the NEET being more black-pilled than the Wagecuck. As already mentioned, both agree that they are trapped in an unfavorable system. Our question, then, must be, why does the Wagecuck stay employed? In his book, The Aesthetic Imperative, the German philosopher Peter Sloterdijk states that, in a secular world where religion is on a decline, capitalism steps in to fulfill the human need for spirituality and salvation. According to Sloterdijk, brands and goods are infused with messianic energy. Through consumption, we supposedly find salvation. This can be seen in advertising. It is not about the best product, it is about the product that makes us the best version of ourselves. There is a huge emphasis on wellness and self-help, and everything needs to be healthy, gluten-free, and fair trade. We become better people through the goods we buy and consume. The boomer, or the consumer, fully accepts this and consumes. There might be some overlap here. Some Wagies might accept this narrative, while others might be unfulfilled by their job and by the things they buy. For them, consuming is not about salvation, at least not generally. They might stay employed out of a misplaced sense of pride, a refusal to enter into the parasitic status of the NEET. Most Wagecucks, however, work and consume for a single purpose: to find the Holy Grail, a girlfriend. Following a practice generally referred to as money-maxing, this kind of Wagie works in a dead-end job to gain money and assets to increase his value in the sexual marketplace. The NEET, on the other hand, realizes that this too is futile, that money cannot balance out other negative factors forever barring him from attaining a girlfriend. He lives without responsibility and seemingly without shame, outside of society, in his parents' basement, empowering himself with memes and belittling the members of society who are enabling his lifestyle. As I said earlier, the NEET is usually depicted as having made the smarter choice. He knows that the game is rigged against him, so he refuses to play. He can play video games and eat tendies while the Wagecuck wastes away in his dead-end job. But it is important to realize that in truth there are no winners. Both the Wagecuck and the NEET lose, even by their own standards. Both fail to attain a girlfriend. Both fail to live a truly happy life. The NEET might try to empower himself through memes, yet remains poor and shunned by society. His idealization of his current circumstances cannot mask that they are, in reality, still wretched. Conclusion. When confronted with the modern world, both the NEET and the Wagie, as well as other types of incels, see a game that they cannot win. The Wagie closes his eyes and plays regardless, losing in the end. The NEET keeps his eyes open and refuses to play, losing on purpose. Both fail to realize that the only way to win is to change the game. This could mean inner change, adjusting one's perspective till the outer world is perceived as a game one can actually win. Or it could mean outer change, changing the world and making it so that not every game has to be a losing one. But hey, that's just an analysis. A meme analysis. Thanks for watching.